So for today's lesson, we're going to be working with something called the change of base formula. And the change of base formula goes hand in hand with logarithms, which is what we started on with yesterday. And if you're following along, we're on page 328 in our textbook. So we're going to do a little review from yesterday. Yesterday, we went over log form and exponential form. Logs and exponents are basically inverses of each other. So you can convert from log form to exponent form and exponent form to log form. So you could go back and forth between the two. So our log form, the way we read this is log base, and our base is always going to be some type of number. Log base of whatever our answer is equal to, and then whatever number our exponent is. So log base of exponent of answer is equal to our exponent. And where we get this from comes from our exponential form. Our exponential form tells us base raised to the exponent is equal to our answer. So what we're doing is now, when we're going to convert something to log form, we're going to take our base, we're going to take our exponent, we're going to take our answer, and just plug it in wherever you see each of those terms. So base goes down here, our exponent is right after the equal sign, and our answer is over here. So the first problem I had you guys do was log base 3 of 81 is equal to 4. I want you to put that in exponential form. So you already have log form. I want you to put it into this form. Well, we already know that this 3 over here is our base, this is our answer, and this 4 is our exponent. So we're going to convert it into exponential form. So it says 3 to the 4th power is equal to 81. And if we wanted to check if that was correct, you would just do in your calculator, 3 to the 4th is equal to 81. Now, I noticed some of you guys, when you were doing your homework and your classwork, you were just doing 3 to the 4th. You were omitting this 81 over here. This 81 comes along for the ride. You don't drop it off. It's part of the problem. So when we do exponential form, you always have to write that answer that's there. And we don't have to go solve it because the answer is already given to us in the problem. Now I give you something in exponential form and I want you to put it into log form. So I give you 5 to the 4th is equal to 625. We know our 5 is our base, we know our 4 is our exponent, and we know our 625 is our answer. So we got to go put it into log form. So log base 5 of 625 is equal to 4. Base, answer, exponent. As long as we remember the way exponential form goes and the way log form goes, we'll be set with these. And lastly, one of the last problems I gave you was log base 10 of x is equal to 2. So now we're going to be solving for x. We can do that because we already know our base and we know our exponent. So all we're doing now is looking for our answer, or we're looking for our x. The way to do that and the way to solve for our answer is to do 10 squared. So we're going to take our base and raise it to our exponent. 10 squared, or 10 times 10, is equal to 100. So our x is equal to 100. So now the next type of problem I can give you. So this is where the change of base formula is going to come in handy. I can give you log base 8 of 496. Now we're going to be essentially looking for our exponent. We can keep doing 8 squared, 8 to the 3rd, 8 to the 4th, because you're going to kind of be playing around. 8 to what power is going to give me 4096. So you could kind of keep playing 8 squared, 8 third, 8 fourth, but that's going to be time consuming. So there's going to have to be an easier way to do this. So you're asking yourself, 8 to what power is going to give us 4096? So we're going to use the change of base formula to find this answer. So for this lesson, you definitely need to have your calculator. I have also posted a link to the Desmos Scientific Calculator on Google Classroom. I posted it yesterday during class, but I'll also post it again today. It's going to come in handy for when you use this. Like if you guys already don't have your calculators at home, this is another great resource for you guys to have, so that way you can go ahead and use a calculator for virtual school. So this is what the rule says, and I'm going to go ahead in the next slide and give you my interpretation of the rule. So the rule tells you log base b of x is equal to log base a of x, all divided by log base a of b. Now this is what the rule says. We're going to assume in this case, now this is going to go, we can just say, you see how they're both here have log base a. Logs are basically measured in tens, so we could just assume that these are both tens, and then we're just going to say log of x over log of b. This is why I tell you how to interpret the rule my way, because sometimes it throws you guys off. Well, what am I putting in as my a down here? This is why I use this rule right here. So if we have log base b of x, so to figure out, so the change of formula base is log of x, so you're going to take your answer, so log of your answer divided by log of your base, or b. So our entire rule we're going to use is log of x over log of b. If you remember this, you will be all set for change of base. So another important thing to remember is when you put log into your calculator, the second you hit log, it's going to open up a set of parentheses. Before we divide, we have to close that parenthesis, because if we don't, it's going to think you're doing the log divided by that other log. You know that you're doing this divided by this. Your calculator has no idea, so it's kind of like doing an extra step ahead, if that makes any sense. You always have to close parentheses. So if your calculator opens a parenthesis, automatically go ahead and close that parenthesis. So this formula right here, this is the formula I'd remember and use to solve the problems going forward. So the three things I would remember or have them jotted down in your notebook is what logarithmic form looks like, what exponential form looks like, and this change of base formula. So I want you to find log base 8 of 4,096. As I told you before, we could have sat there trying to do 8 squared, 8 to the third, 8 to the fourth, or simply we could do log of 4,096 divided by log 8. So when I put this in your calculator, you're going to hit log, and you're going to see it's going to open up a parenthesis, and we're going to put 4,096. And now we're going to close that parenthesis. Then we're going to hit the divide sign, and then we're going to enter log. We're going to put 8, and we're going to close that parenthesis after the 8, and then we're going to hit enter. When we do that, we'll get our final answer as 4. Could we check that? Of course, if we did 8 to the fourth, we'd get 4,096. So 4 is our final answer. So 8 to the fourth power is going to give us 4,096. So you could have said, well, Miss Bogdan, I understand how this one's working. I really didn't need to use the change of base. I knew, well, I could have just kept doing 8 to the third, 8 to the fourth. Well, it's always not going to be clear cut with nice whole numbers. We're going to start getting some decimals now. So now we have log base 4 of 32. 4 to the what power is going to give us 32? So the way to do that is log of 32 divided by log 4. When we put that in our calculator, we get 2.5. We could check that. 4 to the 2.5 power is going to give us 32. Now let's try this one. Log 4 of 31. Okay, well, we knew 4 to the 2.5 power gave us 32. So 4 to what power is going to give us 31? So the way to do that, same thing, log 31 divided by log 4, and we're going to get a decimal. We get 2.477. So I would always say, unless I tell you otherwise, round to 2 decimal places. So we're going to round this to 2.48. The reason you're not going to round this to 2.5 is because 4 to the 2.5 gave us 32. We're looking for the answer to be 31. So we need to leave it as 2.48. So as always, you're going to be rounding to 2 decimal places unless I tell you otherwise. So on your quiz, on your quarterly, I will tell you what decimal point to round to. So always pay attention to what I tell you to do in the directions for where to round. So let's try this one. Log base 16 of 14. So we're going to do log 14 divided by log 6, and we're going to get 1.47 as our final answer. So 6 to the 1.47 power should give us roughly about 14. You might be a little off because when we round, so it might be like, just say 13.99999 or something like that. It's just because we're rounding off to 2 decimal points. So as always, here is our pet of the day. This is Catherine's dog and her name is Annie. Annie turned 10 a couple months ago. Annie's favorite snack is milk bones, and Annie loves sleeping. Annie's not very energetic, but she'll do almost anything for a treat. And some daily reminders. Your homework is assigned daily, and I'm going to be posting it on Plus Portals and in Google Classroom. Your homework is to be submitted to Google Classroom or emailed to me before the start of class. If I don't receive it before class, it's going to be considered late, and you're not going to receive full credit. You'll receive partial credit. As always, if you guys have any questions, please feel free to reach out, email me, and I'll get back to you guys as soon as I can. Have a great day.